All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. We're talking some UFC. Day early. It's going to be Wednesday or Thursday moving forward. Probably most Thursdays if we get during the year. But if Big Marley or I want to watch a certain football game, like my said Packers tomorrow, we'll be doing it on Wednesday. All the lines are out. Pretty much, you never know about UFC until, I would say, Friday. Heck, nowadays, Saturday, sometimes not even until after lock. By Wednesday, though, you have a pretty good gauge on what fights are on the card. 14 fights, magic number, awesome. UFC Noche, San Antonio, Texas, 3 p.m. Eastern. So a little earlier than usual, but yeah, again, we appreciate all the support. Many watch on playback than live. No one's really going to watch us over the Packers and the Commanders. No one's going to watch us over most NFL games Thursday night, but we appreciate you tuning in regardless. Big Marley, how are we doing today on this fine Wednesday afternoon?
Good, yeah. I'm always cool doing a Wednesday night so that we can watch some football on a Thursday, especially if it's going to be a good game. So football season, nothing's better than right now. Hopefully we get another bankroll builder here this weekend on MMA, and I think it's a decent card to do so. There's no fights you have to jam in. There's also no clear fights that I completely want to get away from, so I'm looking forward to talking it out.
Yeah, absolutely. My just quick broad slate overview. Again, 14 fights is good. Main events, it is one of the most likely to finish, the second most likely at minus 325. But a third-round knockout from Silva that scores 88 is very much in play, and he's 9,200. So I don't think you have to jam that fight. Only 3 fights with favorites greater than minus 250. That's huge on this 14-fight card. Yes, now those 3 are all minus 400 or greater. So 3 big favorites. The rest, though, pretty closely lined. Mid-tier is pretty strong, I think. I think it's just overall a good card with decently spread out ownership. I'm staring at our projected ownership right now. Again, that will be finalized out on Friday. If any other changes are made, we always tag the Discord. Any initial thoughts, any broad slate overview before we go fight by fight?
Nah, I'm ready for it.
Let's do it. First, got to say hi. What's going on, Marquis? Excited about it. There you go. Yep, that'll be my boy Hans already in Texas, Sparrow Diego. That'll be a great fight. 3 BMORELA. I can't even read. BMORELA. I see you all the time. I think you have like the DraftKings screenshot in your Discord. It is good to see you, Morella. Hope everybody's doing well. Again, like button, subscribe button helps us out a ton. We're going to start from bottom to top like always, though. The first fight of the night, the tough finale. So this was supposed to be on UFC 319 with Chimaev. We had Rodrigo have to pull out due to injury. So now we're looking at minus 220. Daniel Duchenko taking on Rodrigo Cenzanado at plus 185. This fight's minus 220 to finish. We have Daniel minus 130 inside the distance. Cenzanado plus 400. Take it away. Just looking at minus 220 to finish and minus 130 inside the distance on one side. I naturally have interest right there. Do you have interest in the Rodrigo side?
Yeah, I have interest in both sides of this fight. They're going to be fighting for that tough contract, so that's always good. And they might not even make it in the UFC if they lose. I mean, especially if it's not a good fight. So I think they'll go all out. Donchenko, I didn't see a whole lot of these guys, to be honest with you. But to me, Donchenko looks like he's going to be the striker. He looks like he has skills in the striking department, where Cezanado just kind of looks like he wants to hurt you when he hits you. But he has no real like rhyme or reason on what he's doing. He's just coming in fast and trying to hit you hard. And if that doesn't work, he looks to grapple. And I think he will have the grappling edge here. I don't know how successful he'll be with wrestling, especially consistently. So my pick is going to be the striker. I liked what I saw from Donchenko on the feet. I think he can keep it there for the most part, as long as he doesn't get subbed early. If he can get back to his feet, I like him to keep it there, and maybe he'll get a TKO along the way, second, third round. Could be first as well. I mean, really any round. And the longer it goes, the more I favor him. So Donchenko's my preferred play, but I think this is a good fight to start out with a good amount of exposure to, because it's the first fight of the night, and I feel like one of these guys has a good chance at 100 plus points, and you'll feel good about that right off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Donchenko, he's minus 130 inside the distance. That's 43.5%. Right now, our projected ownership is quite a bit lower than 43.5%. Zachary Reese, 100 more. We'll get a bulk of that ownership right there. And yeah, I mean, he looks like the striker and the better one, which makes me think Rodrigo, if he were to win, wrestles a decent amount, or at least tries to. And anyone that's 7,400 that has wrestling upside in a fight expected to finish, like, I have interest on automatically on the Rodrigo side, and his ownership looks to be staying in check for sure. So probably a fight I want to get overweight on to start the night. Hopefully it scores like that first tough fight, that big underdog, plus 380 or something. Morales came through, just looked like $1 million. Like, we'll take a big boy score like that to kick off the card. This is a good note. Josh always has some good information in here.
Yeah.
Yep. Usually fights at 155, now at 170.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. So, I mean, I don't know how much that changes my opinion. The other guy did look strong. I don't know. I'll have to watch some face-offs, see if anything really sticks out. But my opinion so far stays the same.
Yeah, I agree. The line really hasn't – actually, I mean, it came out a couple days ago, so it's still pretty new. Open minus 250. It stayed around there for a while. Then we had Senzanato take a good amount of steam. He got all the way down to the plus, one – or how low did he get? Plus 150. We're looking like a minus 180, plus 155 fight just earlier today. And then a good amount of money came back on Donchenko, now minus 220. So with that line still very new, the line came out earlier in the week. I track those lines a lot more. I mean, I track lines all the time, but like the lines that have been out since July 30th, they don't usually tend to move as much during fight week. Whereas this line with a lot less money on it, one 10K bet can definitely swing it a lot. So I'm on the Donchenko side as well, but probably overweight in DFS on both sides.
Yeah.
What's up, YSN? Good to see you. Appreciate the support. All right, let's move on to a very interesting fight. If you're staring at the stone, you could probably see why. We have Elise Pereira minus 135, Monster Rendon plus 115, plus 180 for this fight to finish. Pereira plus 275, Rendon plus 500. 19 years old for Pereira, making her UFC debut, taking on the 36-year-old Rendon. I mean, how often do you see that? 36 and 19? Is it the old woman's strength, or is it the newcomer that can get her done? I mean, this fight is who knows how this one's going to go. Like, I couldn't imagine laying chalk on Pereira, so I guess just naturally dog her pass. But I don't even know how you're confident like it's plus 180 to finish. Like, I have no clue how this fight's going to go. So I want some insight from you.
Yeah, lots of unknowns. I only saw a couple of Pereira's fights. And, I mean, she's just fighting scrubs, so she looked really impressive doing it. But who knows what she's going to look like against UFC competition. I do think I want to be overweight to the field on this one just because I kind of like the unknowns on this fight. Pereira, from what I saw, looks like she's going to have the better hands, more aggressive with her striking. I think she's live for a knockout here. And she also went out there and took people down and was aggressive in top control too. I mean, I don't know if she could do that to Rendon or not, but I like the unknowns, especially when the line is moving against her. I don't think there's going to be really any ownership on her at this point. And if she does win, I think it could be an early finish. So I'm going to be overweight to Pereira. And then on the Rendon side, she's just one of the most live dogs on the card. And I think if she does win, it's going to be wrestling, and it could be a second or a third round finish. And she could put up a big score. So I like both sides of this fight. I might move it to a 4-star, actually, much closer to a 4-star than a 2-star for me.
I love it. I like it because I'm on the same page. I'm glad I threw it to you first. I got to save some breath. But when we're looking at low ownership, especially on the Pereira side, Rendon might be decently owned, like mid-20s maybe, because she's 7,600 with good money line. But I mean, if Rendon wins, it's wrestling. It's top control. Like, I don't really see any way about that. I'll take that at 7,600. Pereira, with no one playing her, probably the lowest owned in the upper tier, with the better striking, it looks like. Like, what if she hurts Rendon? She just gets downhill. If she wins, I think it's a lot likely that the pace of this fight's a lot higher and a lot more action when Pereira's winning it, because that means it's more than likely on the feet, and Rendon has to press for takedowns. Whereas the other side, if Rendon is winning, she probably is slowing it down in the clinch, taking her back, trying to get trips, get it to the mat. and control it that way. So yeah, I have interest on both sides. Pereira lineups, it's a lot easier to be chalky. You don't have to leave as much money. Rendon lineups, maybe you got to leave a little more money, get a little different, but it's a fight I want exposure to, and I don't think many will with the plus 180 to finish. But give me all the unknowns. 19-year-old against a 36-year-old. I'm excited to see how that one plays out. All right, next fight on the card, the biggest favorites and the highest price. Actually, excuse me, the second biggest favorite and the highest price fighter, Alessandro Costa, minus 430. Eldon Correa, plus 330. Minus 150 for this fight to finish. Costa, plus 120 inside the distance. Correa, plus 375. What stands out to me? Plus 330 inside the distance for or plus 330 money line for Correa, plus 375 inside the distance for him. Are you surprised by that? Do you agree that pretty much any Correa win is by finish? Because I didn't plan on really playing much at 6,700, if any, with like 10 teams or less. But that's pretty interesting. And to note, Costa was minus 500 yesterday when I put in these odds, as you see. Now he's minus 430, so some money has come in on the Correa side. Interesting to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, no, actually, in my breakdown, I said I think he can keep the fight close if it's a 15-minute striking match. I mean, he could get a knockout too, but I would think he has a better chance at a decision, actually. Okay. But I think Costa's the better fighter everywhere, more proven, the stronger fighter, the better overall striker and wrestler. He has more ways to win the fight, but he's not a really high volume striker who I think will just completely sell the judges if this is a 15-minute striking match. I think the best part of Correa's game was his boxing, and if it's a 15-minute striking match, he's live. I don't think he scores very well in the decision, but I do think it could be around 70. And if his TKO line is, or his ITD line is his best chance, that makes me like him a little bit more. I think he would have gone for mostly a fade for me to now somebody I'm interested in. I just don't know how much I even need to get that low. I haven't built too many lineups yet, but he wasn't one that I was clicking on when I was just seeing what.
You definitely don't need to. Right. Like Diego Lopes at 7K, Stolzfus, Dumas, like I said, with only 3 dogs that are like 3 favorites minus 400 or greater, like by no means you have to get to that range. But if one of those 3 are on the optimal, you have a lot better chance we're looking at solo shippers and less dupes up top, because people, but again, like we're playing a larger field tournament, 14 fights. Like I care about upside more than I care about like 60 and a win. And man, just seeing this inside the distance from Correa compared to his money line, it's shocking. It's like they'd be shocked if he won anything, but like if he won a decision. Plus 375 inside the distance. Let me see his decision prop. Plus 750. He's over double as likely to get it, or he is 2 times as likely to get a finish than he is a decision, which is definitely interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched a ton of him either, but he didn't strike me as like a guy who's going out there taking heads off. So I don't know.
How much Costa when you have Tatiana Suarez 100 less? That's definitely going to be higher owned, probably 1.5 times owned. I think rightfully so. Gene Silva, the 4th highest owned, he's going to be probably 1.5 times owned. Like Dusko, then there's Gordon, Gaslam was probably less. But I mean, I don't know if pivot's the right word for Costa, but he kind of is. Like Suarez for 100 less and Silva for 300 less is clearly higher owned.
Yeah. He would be more of an MMA play. If I am hand building, I'd rather click on Tatiana or Gene, to be honest. So it might be one where I just leave that salary on the table if I am hand building or making it a single entry. But I'm fine getting anywhere between 10 and 35% of Costa, I'd say.
What would you put it or set as it takedown prop at?
1.5.
Yeah, especially with Correa being the boxer, this big of a favorite. I love Costa's low kicks. Them calf kicks are money, but yeah, I mean, I don't see why.
I think like if you knew this fight was going to go the distance, it would be a higher takedown prop. Okay. But with him expected to finish, I think that limits him to 1.5 or so.
Yeah, I'm indifferent to Costa. Like we could see 25% if Tatiana's 50. Like I'd be fine in some lineups going Costa. If I'm playing Rendon at 7,600, who we just talked about, I'm probably more likely to play Costa. Whereas if I'm playing Pereira, I'd be more likely playing a Silva or Suarez or something like that. Again, excuse me. Again, your whole lineup has to make sense for UFC with salary, with combined ownership, all of that good stuff.
And Costa really hadn't wrestled in the UFC, but I feel like on the regional scene, when I first started watching him, he did mix it in. And I think that would be a smart way to go about this. As a minus 500, it just makes me think he either knocks this guy out or does mix in a full MMA game plan.
Yeah, I think he mixes in a full MMA game plan as well. Let's keep it rolling to the highest likely fight to end inside the distance. Zachary Ruiz minus 240, Cedricus Dumas plus 205, minus 550 for this fight to finish. Reese minus 190 inside the distance. Dumas plus 285. I just don't know how you don't play a lot of this fight. Again, nothing like if Reese goes out, kind of boring first round, maybe gets taken down, maybe just at distance it's boring, and he knocks him out in the second and scores 92. This pass, that's not optimal for sure. If it gets third round, obviously, but under 1.5 is minus 168. Zachary Reese is minus 190 to finish, which is the best on the slate. And I believe the best round one prop at plus 175. Like, man, I want a lot of Reese and probably a good amount of Dumas. And I might have, if I had to pick one fight to have 100% of, it probably is this fight. And the reason for that is like this, I can see more pass and Silva Lopes not getting there, and it's higher combined to own. I'd probably just go Reese Dumas and hope one of them gets knocked out in the first, or just Dumas wins. Like, it's hard to see Dumas not getting there in any win, because I would just tell myself like Zachary Reese like cardio dumped, or Dumas caught him with some jabs and stuff. So yeah, this is probably my favorite fight on the card at ownership. I just think Zachary Reese is better wherever the fight goes, but we're playing MMA with small gloves and a lot of variance and randomness happens. So yeah, the 1,600 savings makes some sense, but I'm on Reese.
Yeah, my favorite fight on the card because, I mean, Reese on the regional scene just looked like a killer. He went out and dominated everybody, got a whole bunch of early finishes. But Dumas on the regional scene looked pretty damn good too. And then he gets to the UFC and he just kind of shits the bed. He doesn't look great. He's okay, I guess, is what I would give it to him. But Reese does look like the more athletic guy, the more dangerous guy, the better wrestler. Dumas, I mean, he doesn't eat shots that great. I mean, he got taken down multiple times by Tululian, which is terrible. But he also looks a little scared on the feet sometimes, like he just saw the cops or something. But I think that Reese could
probably did.
Yeah, I think Reese could hurt him early and score 110 plus points on this card. So he's definitely going to be one of my favorite people to click on. But there's so many unknowns about him. If the fight gets out of the first round, maybe that's when Dumas could turn it on. I don't feel good about clicking on Dumas, but it's just, I'm going to have so much Reese that I need to have as much as the field on Dumas too, kind of as a hedge, because I plan on having at least like 50% Reese, I would say 60% Reese. So maybe 25, 30% Dumas.
Puts you overweight on both, and it just hopes the fight finishes, which at the end of the day is kind of the boat I want to be. I'm not going to lock the fight or make a rule, but if you're 50% Reese, you're at least with the field, probably slightly overweight. 25 Dumas, I think that's a little overweight. Yeah, you're just hoping for a finish there, and if not, yeah, in those select few lineups after that, you only need one lineup in MMA. That's the nice thing about that. But I want to jam a lot of this fight. Reese I just don't see how he loses. Like, he's better everywhere. Dumas just posted a pick with $0 in his bank account, or like 13. How hard is he training? Is he fighting because he needs the paychecks? Like, he's got a lot of going on in life. I don't know. I feel better about where Reese is at in his career.
Yeah.
I'll
and I think Reese is the hometown guy or lives
Texas,
where this card is. So
yeah, good shout on that. All right, let's keep it rolling to a fight slightly favored to go the distance. Luis Gariel minus 225, Jesus Aguilar plus 190, plus 115 for this fight to finish. Solid inside the distance props on both sides. Gariel plus 225, Aguilar plus 350. I mean, if Aguilar is always tough, and he's made us some cheese. That guillotine of his has definitely made us some cheese. He's usually an underdog. Hey, I mean, I remember the fight against Tyra. He had him for like 3.5 minutes in that guillotine. Eventually, Tyra got out and finished the fight, but he's never out of it, is Aguilar. 7,500 live dog. I like it. Probably my preferred side with the savings, but man, talk about low own. Like, it's going to be Elise Pereira and it's going to be Luis Gurriel, if I'm pronouncing his name right. Like, those are the clear ones that no one's going to play up top. Plus 225 inside the distance? I don't know. Little boy Aguiar? Can you see Gurriel get a knockout here? I think it's live. Talk to me.
I mean, I think he could. That's not what I think. He's probably more likely to win a decision, I would think, than a knockout, but it's fairly close.
Agree.
I would want him to win by knockout if I'm going to roster him in DFS, though, because I don't think he's going to want to wrestle against a guy like Aguilar, who does have a mean guillotine. So it comes down to just how much can he strike. Is he lucky enough to land a knockdown along the way? I just wouldn't think that he would score well in the decision. So I'm not that interested in him, but I do want some because he could get a knockout. But my preferred play is going to be Aguilar. I think that he is live for the guillotine. He could just jump guillotine. He doesn't even need to get a takedown to get there. But if he can get a takedown, I think that Luis could be in trouble here. So my preferred play is the underdog who wants to grapple. He's just not a very good wrestler. I just think that he is consistent enough to want to try for the takedown throughout the fight, that if he gets it there once or twice, I'll be hoping that he pulls off the submission. So preferred play is the underdog. This is closer to a 2-star than a 4-star for me, though.
I agree with that. More than likely, I think this fight probably busts, goes the distance. Some line movement, though. Gurriel opened minus 350. Shortly after, got down to minus 185. Some money slowly came back in on the Gurriel side. It's mainly the price. That 1,200 goes a long way. And I prefer going Pereira, I think, over Gurriel, even with a slightly worse inside the distance prop, just because I think that fight can just chaos, unknowns. Like, those fights I want to embrace. So, yeah, Aguilar, my preferred play as well. Let's roll to one of the chalkiest fighters on the slate, the biggest favorite, second highest price, Tatiana Suarez, minus 470. Amanda Lemos, plus 370. Minus 170 for this fight to finish. Open minus 135, so good amount of movement. On the under, Suarez, minus 125 inside the distance. Lemos, plus 550. Tatiana opened plus 110 to finish. Now she's minus 125. Her money line has kept increasing. We're looking at the stone right here. 4.65 takedowns per 15 minutes on the Suarez side. A lot adds up. I mean, Suarez in a decision can score 110. Suarez by sub can score 110. She's going to be chalky. She's high priced, but there are enough dogs on this card to make it work pretty easily. I will say when I'm going to leave money on the table from Tatiana, I'm probably going to either Silva or Zachary Reese or maybe Danchenko. But I want someone that I think can score 100 plus in a decent amount of their wins. I don't want to just be going Tatiana to Gurriel like we just talked about. Tatiana, when she wins, she scores well more times than not. She's likely to score well. She's a clear good play. But when you're not playing her in part of your lineups, that's what I'm trying to think of. I want one of those probably Reese, Silva, Danchenko pivots. Thoughts on that? I assume you'll probably have a lot of Tatiana.
Yeah, I like Tatiana a lot here because she needs to go out there and wrestle. This isn't where you want to test your striking. You could get hurt against Lemos. So I do expect Suarez to look for a takedown in the first minute. And if Lemos gets back to her feet, then another takedown's coming. So I like Suarez. I like her ceiling. I think she has the highest ceiling on the card by a good margin. She scored 157 before. I don't think anyone else on this card can get there. And she could score 10 plus takedowns in this matchup and still get a submission. So I'm going to be heavy on Suarez. But yeah, those other people would be my preferred pivots. I'm also cool with Dusko as well. But yeah, Suarez is my definite favorite pay up. Her and Reese, I think, will be my two highest owned plays on the card. And then Lemos probably full fade for me. I mean, she could knock her out. I just really don't expect her to have a chance at a striking based decision. I don't think that's what this fight's going to be. So it's kind of knockout or bust, in my opinion, for Lemos.
Yeah. I mean, the line does feel a little wide to me. For someone as dangerous as Lemo with one-shot power, with how Tatiana looked against Weili, by no means would I be going to bet Suarez, but when she wins, it's going to come through the mat, and that always scores well on DraftKings. So I agree. I'll be eating chalk with Tatiana. Lemos, I'll probably have none. I probably prefer Coria the more I looked at it, just based on, they really think he's live for that finish at plus 375. So I probably prefer him, but you get a lot more leverage going Lemos than you do Correa due to Tatiana's ownership. So, like, if I played 150, Lemos is definitely in my pool. There's no doubt about that. It's just I know many aren't playing 150.
Yeah, I don't see me 120 unless she's for sure not making my pool. If I make 150, I'm not going to X her out. I also wouldn't force her in if the SaberSim didn't give me any.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same stance as that one. All right, we'll keep it rolling. First, I do want to mention, here, I'll pull this real quick. You see that 79,000 in cash and prizes. The SHIPIT games, if you are an all-access monthly member or on the football special, this price will be going up to, I believe, on Sunday. Kept it available a little too long, but hey, we already know we have the best content in the industry. We want the most affordable price. Not only do you get NFL, you also get college football. The team is absolutely phenomenal. College, always a fun sweat on Saturday, a little MMA, a little college football action. You do get access to the SHIPIT games again. Drawings Mondays, Thursdays, Sundays to get in. Chance at playing with a 333. Chance to play against Hoop, but more importantly, get that 50 golden tickets. Play down to 10, and we're giving $20,000 at minimum to first place. If you don't want access to all these sports, again, join the nation. You can find weekly, monthly, 6-month options, different SaberSim packages, everything you need. We are very confident we have it all at ShipItNation.com and access to the best Discord around. If you do have any questions, you can email info@ShipItNation.com. Next fight on the card, mid-tier fight, closest line fight, a straight pick 'em. Claudio Puelles, -110. Joaquim Silva, -110 Puelles, -110 Silva, -105 for this fight to finish. Puelles +230 inside the distance. Silva +275. Just something interesting, props-wise, line movement, before I throw it to you. Silva opened +400 inside the distance, now +275. Puelles opened +170 inside the distance, now +230. So straight pick 'em. Puelles opened a lot more likely to finish, and Silva the line is slowly narrowed. He's taking money to finish. Puelles is not taking money to finish. Who is more likely to finish, in your opinion? Who's more likely to score 100+ if they do win?
Silva.
Okay.
Puelles, I don't know if he's got 100 in his game. It's more likely a 95, 97 as a ceiling for him, because it'd be like a takedown early, get a submission. Because even when he pulls off multiple takedowns, he's not scoring well. He just doesn't do anything on the ground. It's takedowns and a win bonus. That's really all you're getting from this guy. So against a guy whose nickname is Neto BJJ, I got to think that Silva is going to be okay on the ground, and maybe he could even grab Puelles' neck or something like that. But I think if he can just stuff takedowns, Silva's going to be such a better striker here. He's dangerous on the feet. I think a knockout from him is the most likely finish outcome in this fight, and I favor him slightly. So I think I might end up betting Silva. He's on my possible bet list. I do slightly favor him. It's just, I don't really know what he looks like if Puelles does get a takedown. I don't know if he gets up. Puelles could just grind out minutes in this one, but that's not great for DFS. So my preferred play is Silva here. I'm not going to X out Puelles, but I think he's going to be too owned for me to have a chance at getting even close to the field.
Yeah, you have me a little hesitant now, and rightfully so. Like, when Puelles gets on top, he really doesn't do shit besides just lay and pray. He likes the knee bar. If he can find that, he'll definitely go for it. But, his takedowns are more so like pulling guard, like a Paul Craig dragging you into him. On the feet, he's dead meat. I didn't really have a preferred side. I'm still not sure I do as much, but I actually told myself Puelles might have the higher upside due to all that stuff on the ground, and I'm probably wrong. You're probably right in Silva. He also is someone, like I mentioned against Paul Craig, like for Modestus, is Silva has multiple knockdown upside, because as much as he's Neto BJJ or whatever, why jump in the guard of Puelles if you knock him down? Just let him right back up. Yeah, I might change my preferred play. Every point you made is very accurate. Like, if Puelles doesn't get a round one submission, and in round one he is plus 400 is actually pretty solid though.
Yeah, and I do think it would be round 1 or 2, because he's the one I would expect to fade the longer the fight goes.
Yeah. Maybe this is one where I just go like 25-25, somewhere around there. Maybe just even with the field on both. I don't want this fight to kill me, whatever happens. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. Like for Luna Quang Lee, Ferreira Hernandez, like where does Rob Font Martinez, where does this fight? I guess I could just look at your thing. 4-star versus 3-3-2. So this fight's your favorite?
Yeah, I would say so because Silva's my favorite underdog of the group. But we'll get there. Luna's probably my favorite fighter of the group.
Individual play. Okay. But this fight in general, it's really tough. I think the mid-tier is going to be spread out. And I don't even know really. I think it's the Quang Lee fight, but I'm not really sure. I like how it's spread out, and I like how you can play multiple different chalk pieces and still leave money, jam mid-tier, play one of those like 3 low-owned dogs. Like you can do a lot of things with leaving little money and still be pretty unique this week, assuming we keep all 14, which is always good. Yeah. We have no one projected for over 50% right now.
And when I do hand build, even with 20 lineups, like my favorite Luna lineup, I probably duplicate it and put Pueles in there and then duplicate it again and put Silva in there. So I do like to do that when there is similar salaries that I like to target.
Yeah, that makes sense. As long if you really like those other spots and that's how you get more narrow with less lineups, it can make some sense for sure. All right, let's keep it rolling. Another big favorite on the card. Dusko Todorovic taking on Jose Medina, -400 Dusko, +300 Medina, +115 for this fight to finish. Dusko +165 inside the distance, Medina +525. I know Medina's tough. There's no doubt about that. But, man, I was shocked to see this fight favored to go the distance. Very, very rarely. I'm not sure ever if we've seen a Dusko fight favored to go the distance. -145. I like the under a little bit. I think Dusko's just – I don't know. Maybe striking's probably closer than -400 +300. But just the wrestling, grappling upside at Dusko, if he gets on top, it should be night and day. He is probably the better striker too. Medina just doesn't throw enough. Like the dude's in here for being tough. That's why he's in the UFC. He's 0-3, including Contender Series. Probably going to be 0-4 and get cut today or this weekend. I guess what's Dusko's upside? How much do you think he wrestles? I don't see why he wouldn't.
Yeah, I think he does whatever he wants in this fight, to be honest with you. I don't know where Medina's better than him other than just being tougher, more durable. He got knocked out in his last fight, but everyone's going to get knocked out by Gaudier, whatever his name is. That guy's a monster.
Yeah.
But Medina's just not good at anything. He's just going to go in there and try and throw hands with Todorovic, and maybe he can land one and knock him out. And he'll score well if he can do that. But if he doesn't land a knockout, I just don't know how he wins. Todorovic should be the better wrestler. He could land 2 to 6 takedowns in this fight, 2 to 8 takedowns really in this fight. He could finish him in any round. I don't know how many points Dusko is going to get here, but I do like to target him because I don't think he'll be too owned. I'm okay getting leverage on him on this card, and I'm just going to X out Medina. I have no interest in Medina, especially 20 or less. With 150, I don't think I X him out, but I don't want more than 10%. I'd really struggle to want more than 5%. Medina, I just think Dusko dog walks him here. He's not the greatest UFC fighter himself, but I don't really see any single skill advantage for Medina here.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. There's levels to everything. I just don't think Medina is UFC worthy at the end of the day. If I was playing 150 though, I would play all 28 fighters on this slate for sure. They'd all be in my pool. No favorite above -500. We see crazy stuff happen all the time. I do know that for sure. Yeah, and Dusko, we have Tatiana 9,400, Dusko 93, Silva 92. Suarez is definitely going to be higher owned. Silva's going to definitely be higher owned. So while Dusko won't be low owned, he's going to be lower owned than the two people surrounded by him. You can get a little different that way. Plug in a Costa team, just drop Costa right down to Todorovic. People could go Suarez. People could go Costa with whatever team you play. That's one easy way to eliminate dupes. And when you win a lot more money. All right, let's keep it rolling. Next fight on the card, another mid-tier fight. You already mentioned him, Santiago Luna, minus 135, taking on Quang Lee, plus 115, minus 125 for this fight to finish. Luna, plus 205 inside the distance. Lee, plus 250. So looking at the stone right now, this fight was minus 105 to finish yesterday. It was plus 110 at open, and now it's minus 125. You love to see it. The under getting hit pretty hard this week. This is probably my favorite fight in the mid-tier. It is really close with some of these fights, but I just think there's more unknowns. Like Santiago making his UFC debut at 21 years old. Looks like a pretty solid striker. Looks like a solid mixed martial artist. I just think there's a lot of unknown, possible chaos. I'll embrace that when I'm looking for an optimal lineup for him to score 95 plus in the mid-tier. And Quang Lee, I think there's takedown upside there. He'll just fight for your dollar, like the Gutierrez fight. Like he has fought solid competition, better competition. There's no one thing that stands out that I think he's really good at, but there's no one thing that stands out that he's really not good at. So I think it all depends on like how good is Luna at 21. We're going to find out. I either hope he's a stud and finishes Lee, or I hope he gets fraud checked a little bit. Either way, I love seeing the under take a lot of money. Both guys better than plus 300 to finish. I'm just going to hope it's a one-sided fight, and this fight is optimal. Don't have a strong lean on which side, though. Probably Luna just for upside and unknowns if I had to pick. What are you seeing in this one?
Yeah, I'm actually moving it to a 4-star now. I just liked what I saw from Luna. I think they're bringing him in to want him to win in front of, I think, his hometown crowd. They're throwing him on the main card or the final prelim. I think that's just a good sign for him. I don't think they're doing that for Quang Bang. And he's aggressive early. I think all of his wins are finishes, and they're early finishes. He just goes out there and he can wrestle early and kind of dominate in top control, get finishes with submissions. He can get a TKO with ground and pound. And he also had a nice knockout in one of his most recent fights that I saw too. So I just liked what I saw from Luna. Whereas Quang Bang, he's kind of more of a final product. I think we know what we get from him. He's pretty quick on the feet. He's not a bad striker. He's got some grappling too. And I probably do trust him more if we get out of the, first 7.5 minutes of this fight. He might be the one that starts to take over here. So I like him as well. But Luna is the better prospect here, the higher ceiling, and he's 12 years younger. I mean, if you're 10 years younger, you win 66% of the time in the UFC. So I bet Luna earlier in the week at plus money. He's I think, I don't know if there's value still, but I'd still rather bet his side than Quang Lee. I'm going to have a good amount of Luna, definitely more than the field here. And then Quang will be more of a maybe around the field type of play for me.
Yeah, you and I see it the same. I like your 64, like your advantage in terms of talking age. I just like the unknown, the upside of Luna, where like you said, Quang Lee's more of a finished product. Give me the guy that has upside, because on 14 fight card, even though it's like kind of a mix between fights expect to go the distance and finish, and it doesn't on paper look like the highest scoring card, nor did last week, and it absolutely blew up. You still, with 14 fights, the more fights there are, want probably 90 plus in the mid tier, and I do think Luna is more likely to get that more times than not than Quang Bang, like you said. So that's all I got there, and I do think that is a main fight. I believe Hernandez Ferreira switch spots with Quang Lee, but I can look at that. I always go up based on Tapology. Stuff does change throughout the week. Well, pretty much a straight pick 'em in this. Slight favorite is Carlos Diego Ferreira, minus 118. Alexander Hernandez, minus 102. Minus 125 for this fight to finish. Ferreira, plus 230 inside the distance. Hernandez, plus 225. So notice, again, I did these odds on Tuesday, just yesterday. Minus 115 Hernandez on Tuesday. Now he is minus 102. The line flipped with Ferreira now the favorite. Hernandez coming off a first-round knockout. Literally, it felt like yesterday. This was just a month ago. Quick turnaround. He didn't take damage, though. He looked great. He's trying to parlay that win into another big win. Do you think he does so?
No, I don't really have a lean either way on this fight. I got it 3s all over just because I think it is a pick 'em fight. I picked Ferreira to win, but he was plus money when I did that. I don't know what I would pick if it was just a pick 'em fight. I do think that Hernandez is the more dangerous striker. I also think he's the better offensive wrestler, but Ferreira is the better and more dangerous grappler. And I also think he could be the more technical striker, the more dangerous late in the fight on the feet. And he could definitely win in a 15-minute striking match. I think that Hernandez is more likely to blow it onto the judges' cards, where Ferreira is more likely to kind of steal it. But I just think it's a really close fight. Any Hernandez lineup I would hope that I have the same thing with Diego if I am making a bunch of lineups. But my preferred play will be the underdog. I'd rather just save the money. I don't think we're going to get a big score in this one, though. I think it does go the distance, and we probably get in the 70s for the winner.
So you'll probably want to be underweight this fight because, like, Ferreira being the favorite now at 7,800, if this line even continues to go or even stays here, we could be looking at 27% Ferreira, 14% Hernandez. Would that change your preferred play here in that?
Yeah, I think actually in DFS it would make my preferred play Hernandez, kind of like the Pereira thing, but just with more knowns. Hernandez does have power. He could get a high score that way, and he does have wrestling upside too. So he could score 90 plus. I actually think he's more likely to score 90 plus if one of them is. So if he's going to be half his owned, he's my preferred play.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure it'll get to half, but it very well could if the line keeps moving. Both solid inside the distance props. I do think Ferreira probably more likely to get takedowns or reversals. I don't know how much Hernandez is going to want to try and wrestle. Like, I think it's similar enough to the Chase Hooper fight and probably why he took it. Like, he thinks he's the better striker, act like the ground's lava. You stay off the ground. You trust yourself to win a striking match against Ferreira. It is expected to finish very slightly. If it does, yeah, we could see 90 plus. If it goes to decision, I have a hard time seeing it. I do prefer the Luna fight if choosing, but I'll probably be around the field. Ferreira, my slight preferred play for 600 cheaper, but probably won't have a huge stand on this fight. Whatever happens will not kill me. 4 fights left on the card. Kevin Gastelum, minus 230. Dustin Stoltzfus, plus 195. Plus 140 for this fight to finish. Gastelum, plus 175 inside the distance. Stoltzfus, plus 650. So Gastelum open plus 175 to finish. The over took a little money, plus 185, then some money back. Came back in for him to finish at plus 175. So it opened it's at where it is now. Right now it's at where it's open. There you go. Plus 175, now plus 175. Man, Gastelum's just, he's big for the division, and big, I mean like out of shape big. Like he's not fighting at his proper weight class. There's not wrestling upside, as you can really see on the stone, 1.05. He doesn't throw a lot of volume, as you also see on the stone. He's giving up height, like he's giving up reach. But man, he definitely has hands. He's a fighter at heart. He's good. But is he going to score? Like plus 175 inside the distance, I was very surprised to see. It's a lot better than he usually is. At least it feels like it. Stoltzfus can be fragile, though, so you have it a 3-star and Stoltzfus preferred play. I'm in the same boat, but man, if Gastelum's really low owned, which I think he will, and he's plus 175 to finish, does that make you have any interest there?
No. Gastelum's a long-term fade for me as a favorite. I mean, he has to have a ceiling performance to even have a chance at the optimal. If he does have a ceiling performance, he still might not even make it. But a second-round knockout, I don't even think that cuts it for him. Third round, he's already out. So yeah, I'm gonna fade Gastelum completely. Even with 150, he'd be one that I do fade. 150 in the $15, that would be a little more risky. But like if you're 150 in the mini, he's definitely somebody I'm Xing out. But Stoltzfus, I think, is really live in this fight. I think he could get takedowns. I think he could look like a favorite and win 30-27 in this fight, or submit Gastelum. So Stoltzfus is my pick to win. He's my preferred play. And if he does win, I think he puts up a pretty decent score here. So I like Stoltzfus. I think the line's way too wide.
Yeah, I definitely prefer Stoltzfus as well. It's just that plus 175 finishing prop just really stood out to me because I thought it'd be worse. He has plus 500 in round 1, though. I will say plus 500, 20%, that is higher than his ownership will come in at. So if you're just an on paper person, I think you could do worse than Gastelum and chalkier teams, but I still don't think I really get there.
What's his round one?
Plus 500.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that that's 20%?
It's a little less than 20. Like I don't know, 17, 18 probably.
16.7 shows how good my math is over here. It's still higher than we have him, very slightly. But like his round one prop is very well what his ownership might come in at. Maybe his ownership comes in lower than his round one prop. And if I told you Gaslam's getting a first round finish, I know we're all having a lot of him that way. So you got me into that. Looking at it, ownership, comparing it to certain props. This one, why round one? Because Big Marley showed why round two, round three might not be enough. But yeah, plus 500 is pretty interesting. I still won't have much the less teams I make. Going to someone right in that same price. Or go ahead. You got something?
I was just saying, like, if I did 150, the 15, that's like what I would set my max ownership at, whatever his round one is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So going to someone right in that same range for 100 more, very similar fight in the terms of the odds are very similar, and ownership. People aren't going to go Gordon or Gaslam much with Reese there, Danchenko, Silva, Suarez. Jared Gordon minus 230, Rafa Garcia plus 195, plus 215 for this fight to finish. Gordon plus 400 inside the distance. Garcia plus 425. So one of the most likely fights to go the distance on the card. However, 3.21 takedowns for Garcia, Gordon 1.83. Both throw solid volume. Would you prefer this fight? Would you prefer the last fight? Does it differ? Like you like Stoltzfus more than Garcia, Gordon more than Gaslam, etc. Compare these two. I see you only have a 2-star, so you don't love it much.
Yeah, exactly that. I actually think I might move this to a 3-star. I have some interest in this fight, but I like Gordon more than Gastelum, Stoltzfus more than Garcia. But if Garcia does win, I think it would be a handful of takedowns, and he would score more than 10x here, and he has 90-point upside. So I do think Garcia is in play as a cheap underdog. And then Gordon, I mean, it's tough to pay off 9,100 in a decision, especially because his last 2 wins are knockouts, and he might have just fallen in love with his hands. He can strike at a high pace, but I wouldn't expect him to get there in a 3-round striking match. I would want him to mix in takedowns, and I don't know if he's going to do that in this fight. Garcia might be the better wrestler and grappler in this matchup. So I think Gordon probably does want to keep it standing. I think he wins a decision here, and I would guess he scores 80 points. So that's why I got it as a 2-star, but I'm also not against using Gordon, and I'll have some Garcia too. So probably more of a 3-star for me. It's just not one I'm like dying to click on if I'm hand building. It's more I'm fine having 10 to 30% if that's what SaberSim gives me on either side.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like Rafa Garcia quite a bit. Like I struggle to see many pass where he wins at 7,100 and isn't optimal. And Lopes being 100 less, like people will just naturally gravitate toward that. I'm not saying plug in you can't even do that, but like a lot of my teams like going Garcia Lopes to start. We'll get to the main event. I actually prefer the Lopes side, but when you double punt doing something like that, you're not giving up any upside. You can still leave money pretty easy up top. Like Garcia is someone in a loss when you look at the lower tier. I think that has some of the most upside when comparing people down low. Because, yeah, I mean, he averages 3 takedowns per 15. When he's on top, like he's actually throwing strikes. This could be a high-paced fight. Gordon is a good fighter himself, though. So Gordon by decision probably where this fight busts, but at how low the ownership is, I'll take some chances and prefer to take chances on Garcia for 2K less. 2 fights left. I was hoping we were going to get a little Chihuahua Rob Font, but instead, Martinez is in for the man Chihuahua himself. Good call for Chihuahua. I don't know if he's hurt. I think that's what they said. He probably is, but I was definitely on Rob Font to box his nose in at dog money. Now we get favorites. Rob Font minus 130, taking on David Martinez plus 110, plus 225 for this fight to finish. Martinez, the underdog, better inside the distance prop at plus 375 versus Font plus 475. So Martinez open plus 410, now plus 375. Font open plus 410, now plus 475 when talking finishing props. Does that change anything in your mind? Like Martinez is more likely to get a KO than Font. Does that like, if we're wanting 90 plus, is it Martinez or can Font still with the volume get there in a 15-minute striking match. He probably can, but he'd have to put on an absolute performance if he were to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's another one where I'm kind of okay with both sides of this fight. I do think Martinez is the guy with more power on the feet. He's got good hands too. I think it could be a really close 3-round fight, but Font is just so good with the volume, and I do think he's the more likely one to mix in takedowns in this fight. Yeah, just don't really have a real preferred play in this one. Usually that's going to lead me to being the underdog as my preferred play. And I think that Martinez, whoa, this is damn near a pick'em fight.
Yeah, minus 130, plus 110.
Is that what it was earlier in the week? Oh,
I had it yesterday. I had it minus 133. So looking at
when I looked at it, Rob Font was minus 205.
Last time it was minus 205, September 7th. So what do we got? Yeah, like 3 days ago.
Yeah, and I said that the line was too wide then. I mean, but damn, I didn't know it moved like that. That makes, dang, I don't know what that does actually. I think it makes, and I already mentioned. I mean, the whole you're 10 years younger, you win 66% of the time. I mean, he's got underdog odds. I think this kid's pretty good actually. So that line movement makes me think he's more live than I thought, and I might have to go watch a couple more fights of him or something because I went from. I'm picking Font based on volume, but Martinez is good, man. I think he's a stud. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to go back on this. I'll change my notes on at SHIPITNation.com. But I'm kind of mind blown by this being like a pick 'em fight now almost.
Yeah, tons of line movement. Font open minus 170, got as low as 210, minus 205 on September 7th, and just every day, slowly but surely, money's came in. Yeah, Josh has a good point. Like Font's fought, I mean, we made a lot of money against him against Yanez. But man, he's never being knocked out. Like it feels like only a matter of time for him to finally fall. He's accumulated a ton of damage throughout his career. He'll always fight for your money. He's 38 now. I mean, the chins, people never get knocked out until they do, and then sometimes it just keeps going that way. I wouldn't be shocked to see it. And again, a lot of line movement on the under, which is interesting. I just think probably Martinez is my preferred play. Because the savings a little bit. You don't have to like upgrade anywhere, just a natural 800 savings. But if I want 90 plus, 95 plus, it really feels like, especially with where these odds are going and everything, Martinez is more likely to get that via knockout. Font can easily land like 150 significant strikes and something, but that still might not be enough in the mid-tier at 8,500. So I was on Font definitely over Chiwiwi. Now I'm probably on David Martinez more than Font. I've been wavering back and forth on a pick, though. I'm not betting. I'm just focused DFS. When they win, how often are they optimal? And I think Martinez with the savings and better inside the distance prop has slightly better chances. All right, it's main event time, Big Marley. Appreciate everyone hanging out here. Like button, subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. And if you do want to join us at the Nation, SHIPITNation.com. Multiple different packages, weekly, monthly, 6 month. If you want MMA, all sports, we have monthly all access. If you just want football, with Maine in town, NFL, college football, the early bird special is still live. Again, do join the Discord if you do join. Main event time, great fight. Gene Silva, Diego Lopes, minus 231 Silva, plus 196 is Lopes, minus 260 for this fight to finish. Gene Silva minus 120 inside the distance, Lopes plus 300. Something to note, line movements. So this fight was we had Gene minus 205 on Tuesday. Now he's minus 231. He's taking some money. This fight was minus 325 to finish on Tuesday. Now is minus 260, excuse me. So some money on Silva, some money on the over. I'm on Lopes for the fact of, I just think the line's a little too wide. I think he has hands to compete with Silva. I think on the mat, his grappling, like he obviously can catch Silva in something if it gets down there. I think Volk, he learned a lesson from the old vet. It was a good fight. I mean, he clearly lost, but he was going toe for toe with Volk. He was still trying. He'll fight for my dollar. He's $2,200 cheaper. I'm not trying to, by no means do the two Fighting Nerds losses last week dictate anything. I was already on them, but they're all high-level fights at the end of the day. I just think the odds are too wide. I can save a lot more money with Lopes. I can do a lot more crazy things. I get a lot of leverage. I'm on Lopes, but for Gene Silva. And I won't have 100% of this fight because Silva wants it on the feet. If he gets a second round knockout, 90 might not be enough. Third round knockout might not be enough. So I will have some fades. Harder to see Lopes not getting there in a win. You have the Silva side favorite, though. I'm curious to hear if you're going to fade this fight at all, if the over taking money means anything, and then, yeah, why is Silva your preferred play?
Yeah, I'm picking him by knockout, so he's my preferred play for that reason, but I think I picked him by third round knockout. And I mean, that's going to be tough to get there if it's a third round knockout with just one or less knockdowns. So I'm definitely not going to be forcing him into lineups. And this is closer to like a 4-star rather than it is a force him into lineups for me. I am fine going down from Silva to Reese for sure. I like Reese more. I'll have more Reese. I'll have more Tatiana as well. And if I need to go to Lopes to get those two and I end up with more Lopes like from SaberSim, I'd be okay with that. But I picked Silva because I think that this fight is going to end up staying standing. I don't think Lopes is a good enough wrestler nor willing enough wrestler to dictate where this fight's going to take place. It could only take one takedown for him to finish this fight. I just don't trust him to get it there. And if this is a striking match, I think Silva's the better striker. And I think at some point he's going to knock out Lopes. So he's my preferred play for that reason. But if it is a late knockout, then I would definitely worry about his score. So I'd be fine with like 20 to 50% Silva, and then kind of the same on the other side, but I would guess that I'm like maybe 40 Silva, 25% Lopes, something like that. So that probably would make it more of a 4-star type of play for me.
Yeah, I think I'll probably be the opposite. I'll probably have Lopes as my highest owned or top 3 highest owned fighter. And then I'll just lower Silva. Like it's something that I assume my own process and doing SaberSim, it'll give me something different. And I believe MMA is one of the sports that you can make the most tweaks because it's just one-on-one. There's more human watching, stuff like that. Like the lineups together, they're all independent with each other. So there's no like negative correlation from one fight to another with a lot of other sports like that. So I'm more willing to make a lot of changes. I think Lopes wins. I like the price tag. I like how my lineups look more. I'll be underweight Silva, overweight Lopes. I would not mind if this fight is not optimal when it's all said and done. Again, 14 fights, 90 by no means is guaranteed. Like last week, I needed Imavov for 105. It was really gross. Me and Sheets had a 6-way chop if he did it. We said on this show the whole time, though, like on the feet, the over was getting hammered. Over is getting hammered in this one. You think it stays on the feet? It can easily not get there. It's not hard to see this fight not being optimal when it's all said and done. It's almost always over-owned in situations like this. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty fun card in the fact of, who's going up top in the Silvas, the Suarez, the Zachary Reeses of the world. The mid-tier will be spread out, but all very solid fights. And the lower tier, outside of Medina, Lemos, and Coria, is the big dogs. I think we see a mixed and match right there. So I think we could see 5 or less dupes, 14 fights, noon at my time, 3 Eastern start time, a little early. Oh, baby, we're in for a fun Saturday. Yeah, we'd love to have you at the Nation. Any final thoughts before we get on out of here, Big Marley?
No, man, looking forward to it. And then we got NFL right after. So I love these weekends during NFL season, and hopefully this is a good and profitable card. Good luck to you, Title. Good luck to everybody listening. Let's ship it.
Let's ship it is right. For Big Marley, I'm Title Town. Good luck. Be safe. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.